I'm going to read a spoken word in just a moment that was inspired by this painting that you see up here. The painting was written by a woman named Sister Grace Remington, and then this version of it was done by a man named Scott Erickson. And the painting is called Mary Consoles Eve. And this is Eve here in shame, and you see the fruit that she's partaken and the snake wrapped around her foot, and you see Mary consoling her as she is pregnant with the birth of Jesus. So it's this artistic rendering, this imagination of Eve receiving the hope of the offspring that was promised years before. And so a few years back, I wrote this spoken word inspired by this painting. The weight of the world on her shoulders, longing and hoping for someone to hold her. Tears flow down my face as I imagine her disgrace, for through her obstruction of the Creator's grace came the destruction of the whole human race. Now eviction from this beautiful place, the depiction of unrelenting shame. This beautiful woman, Eve, once unafraid for others, her beauty to see, now frantically covers her body with leaves. By the serpent she's been deceived, and I weep, 'cause in her face my shame I see. And given the same choice, the fruit I would eat. Tempted to become like her maker, attempted to become her own creator, to make her own rules and become her own king. But when sin was given rule, death was given its sting. Evil rings and I weep. Because when I'm faced too with the choice of a king, the one I'd placed on the throne would always be me. A choice fueled by lack of trust now spreads the reign of sin, ignited by deep-seated lust from every human heart within. Now no place to find cover from the serpent's hover. Death is now our lover and life has been ruptured. We hate one another and murder our brothers. Building our own Babel tower, seeking our own strength and power. And our whole course of action is to advance our own factions, to seek our own freedoms and build our own kingdoms. The whole of creation is infected. No place or thing can reject it. Destruction is our affection. The powers of darkness our election. The totality of maliciousness. The fatalities are endless. The casualties defenseless. Depravity and senseless. Sin's gravity relentless. The serpent's grip squeezing away life. The harmony of humanity replaced by strife. This evil beast slithers and reigns from the grave, and all of life withers and fades to gray. And if Eve had only known that this world she called home instead of love and shalom would now become a war zone, maybe, just maybe she would have hesitated. Thought about the fruit before she ate it, fought for the truth and tried to reclaim it, saw past the fruit to the root before she would partake it. But given the same choice, we all too would take it. So with her I sympathize that the temptation to follow the lies of the one we despise is hard to recognize, because he dresses up as light, and no matter how hard I try, the beam sticks out both my eyes, and because of my sin I too am doomed to die. Is there any deliverance? Could we pay enough penance? Maybe desensitize our senses, make new laws and build new fences. But all this manufactured hope is simply senseless. By Adam and Eve, creation is now unclean. Gone is the spring and evil is king. But wait, rewind the scene. Look closer and see Genesis 3:15, the promise of an offspring, a true king who'll bring a new song to sing. He'll reverse the curse and make the unclean clean, serve humanity as our great high priest, loose chains and set captives free, and crush the head of the serpent for the whole world to see. Imagine Eve's hope as she gave birth to her firstborn Cain. For the joy set before her, she endured the pain. She said, I have received a man from my God. Could he loose the chains? Could Cain be the one who will release the shame? The one who will rise and overthrow the serpent's reign? But soon it was revealed that he too was filled with the serpent's hate. And the next in line, Abel, soon too would be slain. We gasp at sin's clasp. Ages pass and we ask, where is this one anointed? Where is the Son appointed? And then one day, a humble maid of low estate was looked on with grace. See the look on her face, shocked and amazed, but don't be afraid, for this is the place where the Son begins his reign of this kingdom that will never pass away. The firstborn of the true human race, be in awe at this conception of grace. Though Eve's firstborn brought utter destruction, Mary's firstborn will usher reconstruction. One brings devastation, the other new creation. One brings strife, the other life. One is a killer, the other a healer. So imagine with me the viewpoint of Eve as from eternity she looks on this scene, remembering the promise of peace kept through this true offspring, fulfilled in the birth of a sleeping king. He comes needy and weak, humble and meek, wrapped in borrowed sheets, because the kingdom of this king moves on through the least. Outcast and thieves, harlots and me. So now we can see the transformed face of Eve as she no longer weeps. So together we sing, because now we know we will reap the harvest sown by this seed, the perfect offering, the perfect offspring. He will save his people. So they call his name Jesus. To Eve, this name must have sounded the sweetest. Knowing this child from the curse, he will free us. He moves into our lives in the midst of his people, and in the depths of our sin and despair, he will meet us. The word of God made flesh is reversing all evil, unveils his backward reign, revealed in this helpless babe. Through his humility, he will bear hostility as he reverses all history. So come behold the wondrous mystery. He comes to set us free. So let his people sing of the advent of this